Hey guys, welcome back to Pro Wrestling for Life. My name is AJ and this is my channel. I just started, a couple weeks ago, and we are going to talk wrestling on my couch. No big studio, no big setup, just trying to talk about what's current, what's happening, what we think is going to happen at the PLEs, maybe some weekly shows. And right now, this weekend, there is a PLE called Clash in Paris that's going to happen on Sunday. It's Sunday night in Paris, but it's actually going to be about 2 o'clock Eastern time here. I'm in Michigan, which is Eastern time still. So unfortunately, I have to work, so I'm gonna have to watch the replay, which I'm not super excited about. But that's what happens when these things are in Europe or Australia, or sometimes they're in Saudi Arabia. Is what it is. Gotta work, so I'm gonna have to watch the replay. Anyway, let's get into who we think's gonna win, who we think's gonna lose, or different run-ins that might happen. First up, Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, the tribal chief versus the tribal thief. There's been a decently big build-up for this. Bronson Reed has stolen 2 of Roman Reigns' I don't know, what are they, Jordans, Air Force Ones, whatever the hell they are. So he wears it around his neck, and he calls him the Shula Fala. It's a direct mockery of Roman Reigns' Ula Fala, which is his kind of lei-like necklace that distinguishes him as the tribal chief of his family. Bronson Reed really needs a win, but it's Roman Reigns, so that's a pretty tall task. Could go a couple ways. It could go with Bronson Reed beats him up for a while, and then Roman Reigns comes back and hits a Superman punch and a couple spears, and then he wins. It could have some outside interference with Braun Breaker coming in and causing a disqualification. Braun Breaker's not on any other match, so this is very, very, very possible, because they are going to build that as one of Braun Breaker's and Roman Reigns' next big feuds. I don't know. I think that maybe Braun Breaker comes out and Roman beats both of them. That's possible too. I think Roman wins. It's a really hype crowd in Paris, and there's not a bigger star than Roman Reigns. Maybe Cody Rhodes or CM Punk would be a 1A, 1B, 1C kind of thing. But Roman is still a mega star. I guess that's LA Knight's thing. But you know what I mean. He's got a huge following. He's one of the GOATs. He's the greatest modern wrestler. So I don't think Bronson Reed can beat him. At least not clean. Maybe Braun Breaker comes out and spears him on the outside of the ring that the ref doesn't see. The ref is hurt or distracted or whatever it is. I mean, I could see something like that happening, but there's no way that he's winning clean. Next up, Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This one seems pretty obvious to me that Becky Lynch is going to win this. Nikki Bella doesn't really seem like she's on the same level. Becky Lynch has been boosting up talent recently. She's been putting people over. Lyra was the last one that she not made famous, but she boosted her. That rivalry was pretty good. A couple of those matches were really good, and I don't think that she loses the belt yet. Not to Nikki Bella. I mean, Nikki just came back. She was in the Royal Rumble, and then a handful of other things, and I don't know. It doesn't seem very believable that she could beat Becky Lynch right now. So I'm going Becky Lynch to beat Nikki Bella clean. Next one, Sheamus versus Rusev in a good old-fashioned Donnie Brock match. I don't know. I'm not sure what they call it. But anyway, it's basically a street fight. It's going to have Sheamus's cane involved in it. That's the Donnybrook. And these guys have been feuding, like Peter Griffin and the chicken and Family Guy for the last 3-4 weeks, where it's kind of funny, kind of annoying. But it needs to come to an end, and I'm thinking that this is where it's going to come to an end. They're both big beefy guys, so it's going to be a banger, as Sheamus says. They're going to be hard hitting. They're gonna beat the crap out of each other, which should be entertaining. Who do I think is going to win? That is a great question. It's in Europe. They're both European. Sheamus is Irish. Rusev is, I don't know, some Eastern European. So they're both from Europe. So it makes sense that they're doing this in Paris. I think Rusev wins just because he just came back a little while ago and he kind of needs a push. Sheamus, I don't know. Sheamus has kind of been stuck in purgatory, in my opinion, lately. He hasn't really been doing much of anything, which is a shame because I like him. And, eventually they'll probably do an Intercontinental Men's Championship push for him because that's the last one that he has to win to be like a Grand Slam champion. And maybe they'll do that when he's about to retire. I don't really know how old he is. I'm guessing mid-40s. So he could have a couple years. He could have 5 to 7 more years. I don't know. But maybe they do that at the end of his career to give it a nice little cap off and let him have that after, he's worked so hard for so many years. But anyway, Rusev, I think, wins. Next one, John Cena versus Logan Paul. I could see this going either way. And well, let's talk about the different scenarios. So Logan Paul had his babyface turn right before SummerSlam, had a great match with Cody, lost the championship, and then Brock Lesnar showed up and F5'd him and left. And is this match just a setup for that one? I kind of think that it is. But I also could see John Cena needing some wins before his retirement match because he just lost and he did that awful heel run for, what was it, 3 months, 4 months, whatever it was. And it didn't really do much for him. It was a flop. It wasn't very good. It just wasn't. And he lost to Cody. He lost the championship to Cody at SummerSlam. So I think that he needs a win. And the only way I see him not getting that is if there's outside interference from Brock Lesnar, which there very well could be, but it kind of depends on when it's going to happen. Does it happen during the match or does it happen after the match? Because I think it's going to happen. But like I said, it's a matter of when it happens. So yeah, because if John Cena just wins and then Brock comes back in, it's kind of just like SummerSlam, even though he just lost and Brock Lesnar came back in. But does something happen on the outside during the match, just kind of like what I was just talking about with Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed? It might, maybe it doesn't happen in Roman's match. Maybe it happens in this match, and Brock does something on the outside that isn't caught, and then Logan, being the heel that he is, throws him into the ring and pins him, or frog splashes him, or whatever he's going to do. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Brock interferes, Logan capitalizes on it and gets the victory, and it doesn't really hurt Cena because, it was from interference and not just a clean win by Logan. So I think Logan wins, and that kind of just adds fuel to the fire of this feud. Men's Heavyweight Championship match, Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight versus CM Punk, Fatal 4-Way. Well, Seth just cashed in his Money in the Bank less than a month ago at SummerSlam. I was there, by the way. And it was great. I don't see him losing 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, what it is now, 4 weeks. I don't think anyone would beat him right now. I think it's too soon. I think that would be a waste of the Money in the Bank contract. I think it was a great cash in. I mean, I was there. There was a CM Punk crowd, and everyone was, on cloud nine when he won. And then Seth Rollins showed up and dropped the crutches and came down and did what he did, and it was a really good cash in. It wasn't wasted, kind of like Austin Theory and some of the years past ones. Damian Priest was pretty good too, but it wasn't a wasted cash in. And I think that if they just took the title away from him now, 4 weeks later, I think that it would kind of feel like it was a wasted cash in. So we don't want that, and WWE doesn't want that, and it's just not the right time for him to lose. And so, unfortunately for the other three, I don't think they have a chance. I think that Jey Uso or LA Knight takes the loss, and I think they preserve CM Punk a little bit to either further that rivalry with Seth Rollins, or maybe that branches off with CM Punk versus LA Knight a little bit, because they've been kind of feuding-ish, teetering on that line of feuding. But I don't see where Seth Rollins loses this at all. There's only 5 matches. That's unless they add another one on Friday Night SmackDown, then the 2 days before that. I kind of wish that Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles were wrestling. I wish there was another women's match. So this one, I don't love the card. It's not the worst, but it doesn't feel like a lot's going to happen. Maybe they're saving that for WrestlePalooza, because that's ESPN's first PLE. That's a whole nother can of worms to open. I'm not very happy that they're doing PLEs on ESPN already. I don't have ESPN. I don't know. I don't really plan on getting it. I'll probably get a VPN before I get ESPN. And then just get everything on all of WWE and Netflix, like the international crowd gets. So, I like other sports, but I don't need a $30 streaming fee from ESPN. I might cave. I don't think that I will, though. I think I'll go the VPN route. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you're going to do about this new ESPN problem that we have. Subscribe. That would be great. I only have 6 right now, and one's my brother and one's my wife, so I really only have 4 that don't know me. But if you could do that for me, that would be great, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.